Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this.
Rob, you mentioned this was going to basically spoil what you're going to do at 4. Well, you're on the clock at 4 for the Houston Rockets. Where are you going?
Well, I'm going to take Cam Whitmore with the fourth pick. I think if you kind of read the tea leaves here, it's between Amen Thompson and Cam Whitmore is what the Rockets are down to. And I think at the end of the day, if you are making that decision for Houston, you got to just pick who you think has the highest upside, right? You don't know for sure if James Harden is coming. You have a lot of pieces that look like they're pretty good on paper, but you were a 22-win team this past season. I think you still got to shoot for the moon. You got to try to hit a home run. If you're the Rockets at this point in time, you're not hitting singles. You're trying to hit the ball out of the park. And I think Cam Whitmore is that guy. He's 6'6", he's 200, whatever. He's probably listed at 220. He looks like he's about 235 pounds. He hasn't turned 19 yet. He is a guy that I believe is built well enough that he could even play some 4, maybe small ball 5 long term at the NBA level. I'm buying the jump shot. I think he's going to find a way to figure it out. And at the end of the day, I think with guys and you're trying to figure out what their upside is, what their ceiling is, I think birthdays are really important. I think that's something that we've learned over time. Amen Thompson is 20 years old. He's a year and a half older than Cam Whitmore is at this point. Cam Whitmore hasn't turned 19 yet. So I'm in on Cam Whitmore. I'm buying the jump shot. I think that he is a guy that has a ceiling as an all-star kind of a player. And I would take him here at 4 if I was the Houston Rockets.
So that means we are 4 picks into this draft, and we have not heard a Thompson twins name called yet. I want to get the pulse check here from Matt and from Jonathan. How surprising is that? Is that a miss by our collective board here that Amen Thompson is falling?
I'm not that surprised. In fact, I think that's how it's going to play out. I think both Thompsons slip outside the top 4, and I'm with Rob. I think they wind up taking Whitmore. I think maybe Whitmore's off the dribble skill might be one of the biggest swing skills in this draft, right? He had one of the lowest assist rates we've ever seen from a projected first round wing. Obviously, it had to do with a little bit of his role at Villanova, but you could also see why teams are going to be, crazy about the power, explosiveness, and shot making. And shot making is the key one because neither Thompson brother brings very convincing shooting.
Interesting. Matt, what are your thoughts? You're going to pick for us next at 5 here, so don't spoil that yet. But I'm curious, are you in alignment with all these guys? Because personally, I'm a little surprised that Cam was the name at 4.
Yeah, I mean, if you would ask me a couple months ago, I'd be very surprised. I mean, I had men 3rd or 4th the entire year. How things are unfolding, I agree with Jonathan. It's looking like there's a good chance that he slips out of the top 4. But the good thing is I'm picking next, and I've got the Pistons, and I will be taking Amen Thompson. And my thoughts here are Amen is just the highest rated player on my board. I think he's got significant upside. I've got a chance to get to know him and his brother personally, and I just have a lot of confidence in their them as workers, their character, their approach. I think they're going to get a lot better, both of them. I prefer Amen a little bit more than Asar just because he's got a little bit more of a cerebral approach to the game, a little bit more of a natural point guard. I'm expecting some criticism on this pick with the fit with Detroit, with Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey. But I mean, the way that the game's really going in the NBA right now with a spread out, multiple ball handlers, I do think you make it work, but does create some pressure on these guys to improve their outside shooting. But like I said, with Amen, I do trust that he will get better all the way around.
Are there any concerns from his level that he just played a full season at, right? Coming from overtime elite, does that factor in here in a negative way at all with your perception of him versus a guy like Cam Whitmore, who we just took over him?
It doesn't for me. I mean, I think the evaluation in every different landscape changes, but for NBA level scouts, I mean, I think they've got trained eyes, and you should be able to walk into a gym and figure out if a guy can play. And it's not like these guys are playing against a bunch of scrubs. I mean, it's really the same as a junior and senior in college playing like a freshman in college. So not an issue for me. And on the flip side of that, I really like going to overtime elite. They kind of roll out the red carpet and give you great access to where you really get a good feel for the players. And so not a problem for me personally.
Matt mentioned. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Sam.
Let me bounce off of that because Overtime Elite is a really interesting program. I think they do a really good job developing these guys on and off the court. The one thing that when I talk to scouts, they worry about is generally his development in half court settings. Overtime elite games, when you watch them, they are transition fests. These things are going up and down. They're flying up the court. And because the Thompson twins are so much better than, frankly, everybody else in that program at this point, they dictate the tempo of the game in such a substantial way. Their games are played so up tempo. And while I don't think that that necessarily is seen as a long-term criticism of the Thompson twins, what I would say is that some NBA teams do have some questions about how quickly Amen and Ausar will develop within half-court settings, which is ultimately where NBA teams, make their money in the playoffs at the end of the day. So short-term, I think that's a little bit of a concern, but long-term, Amen and Ausar, like Matt said, you can't really speak highly enough of their character. So I believe they'll figure it out.
Matt mentioned fit quickly. I'm a Pistons fan. I just want to throw that out there. Is fit something you worry about at 5 in a franchise in the state that Detroit's in, Jonathan?
I think it's maybe one of the biggest questions. Like if this happens, if Whitmore goes 4, and I'm always a guy who says, just take the best player available and figure it out later. That one is such a tough one because if you take him off the ball, you kind of play him to his weaknesses. And can he, I always say take the best player available as long as he can find a way, as long as he's put in a setting to maximize his potential. And you worry that with Cade and Jaden handling the ball there, Ausar, what is he going to be doing? Standing around the arc for, half of his possessions, which is just playing him away from what he does best. So it creates, like Matt said, a tough situation. But on the other hand, it goes against my, personal beliefs, and you have to take the best player available, especially when you're a team at the bottom of the standing like that, and you just really can't afford to be picky and look for the right puzzle piece.
Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more true. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's field 68 FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks. Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.